Sheila Narayan, Office of the Public Advocate.
My name is Sheila Narayan. I'm an HSR and Advocate Guardian at the Office of the Public Advocate. So Advocate Guardians are, to simplify it, they're substitute decision makers for people who, for whatever reason, might not be able to make decisions for themselves. Our workload was pretty huge. Our caseloads were too big. We were struggling with that for a long time. That was causing people great stress and anxiety. Then 2020 came. And there were some significant things happening for us then. We had a change in our legislation, which hadn't been changed since 1986. That commenced at the beginning of March 2020, and then a couple of weeks later, everybody was working from home.
So during the lockdowns in COVID, those people were under really difficult conditions, really challenging circumstances, and our staff worked with those people through those difficult times. But our staff also had to move really quickly to working remotely and doing their work differently, and that created lots of pressure.
A couple of Advocate Guardians raised the workload issue directly with the HSRs, and we initially met with senior managers and we met with the Deputy Public Advocate. We tried to resolve it through that type of consultation, but we didn't really get anywhere. The majority of Advocate Guardians were just feeling that it was a completely untenable situation. So I issued a PIN.
She challenged some things around here that were ready to change, and I think that took a lot of courage and it took a lot of work. I've seen that work and how much she's done. It's measurable, it's observable, and I've also seen amongst my colleagues what a positive effect it's had.
The focus used to be on numbers, how many numbers we used to do. That's not the focus anymore. The focus is more on what we're doing and the quality of what we're doing, and I think that's had a really positive effect on people.
So I think the change has been less about processes and procedures and more about attitudes and culture. And so although we had HSRs and a health and safety committee, I think it's about the way issues are brought forward and discussed in an open conversation that's constructive and productive.
Sheila put her hand up knowing it was going to be a really tough fight and there could be repercussions. I am in awe of Sheila and what she's done for this workplace.
Adrian Zamet, DP World.
I'm Adrian Zamet. I'm a stevedore crane driver at DP World. 355 employees, 18 HSRs, and I'm one of those HSRs. Been a HSR for 5 years, and I've become the chairperson of the OH&S committee as well. And then that leads on to educating myself and doing courses, and the aim is to keep the site safe, and if I educated myself on how I could do that, then I think I'd be a better HSR all round for the business and for the workers. My biggest challenge, it's getting my message across in a respectful manner, but sometimes you've just got to be like a dog at a bone until you get the safety control that's in place that's going to best suit everyone long term. I've played a key role in changing the way our designated work groups set up on site. So we only had I think it was only about 4 or 5 HSRs to cover 355 employees over a 24/7 work site. So we sat down and we worked out that if we could try and get one single DWG that covers everyone, because we're all multi-skilled, we're all doing each other's roles, then I think we'd achieve a better outcome for safety on site. We went back to the Act, and the Act supports a DWG agreement. So I put it to the company. That was hit with a few challenges. It took quite a long time, and eventually, after I think 3 or 4 meetings with the company, we ended up with all up 4 DWGs, and with our one being the biggest one, with a total of about 26 HSRs. That way we've got 24/7 coverage with HSRs on site.
Even all the other HSRs, we go to Adrian for support and his knowledge. He's even done a Cert 4 online. He's pretty well our legal team as well. All we are about is safety and getting people home to their families. Adrian's at the top of the list doing that.
He will ask questions, he will push issues, he'll get the answers and he'll bring those answers back to the DWG, and from there we'll have a reasonable discussion and we'll work out what we're going to do and rectify them and make the overall workplace a better workplace to be.
Our industry is unique, it's dangerous, it's high risk. Our members that work at DP World, at times we've had over 600 work there, they actually have more than the confidence, not only at work but at home, knowing that Adrian Zamet is there. That designated work group was absolutely fantastic for our industry, and now we're going to roll that out Australia-wide. And it's more than a credit to him. I can't speak highly enough of him.
It's about trying to stop that one thing that can push through to a catastrophic outcome. There are too many fatalities and too many injuries in our industry for us not to be playing our part in this role. It's important. It's important for everyone to play their bit.
Bruce Mahaki, Toll Global Logistics.
My name is Bruce. I work at the Truganina Kmart warehouse. When I was younger, I used to be bullied a lot, and I really didn't enjoy it, and I don't like that. I put my hand up to be a health and safety representative to stop that sort of behaviour. I like the challenges, I like resolving, I like seeing the DWG safe and happy.
Bruce will actually represent everyone that's on this site. It's the afternoon shift that Bruce generally represents, but I know that he comes in a little bit earlier and people really like to catch up with him to let him know what's going on, so you can also, understand what's happened during the day shift, especially if it's having an impact on the afternoon shift.
Bruce is a really amazing HSR for a lot of reasons. He has such a good relationship with everybody on this site. He really knows the work group. Most recently, he worked really hard to have a number of platforms replaced in a container yard. Bruce consulted with management for 8 hours to get those replaced. He was able to persuade management that this was in the safety interests of all of these really vulnerable young workers who were contractors.
I not only am pretty good at the OH&S Act, I also read the regulations. I've read long service leave records, fair work. I didn't even know it, but there's even a Records Act. Things get resolved because the Act is actually a law. 2 casual females approached me for support. Another member was making lewd comments to them. I took the complaint up to consult with my company, and upon consultation with them, that person was disengaged, which made not only the shift they were on, my shift, but also the shift that he was put to safe. Safe from sexual harassment and safe from the assault.
Anything you come up to him with, he takes very seriously, and he'll give you his opinion of it, whether he thinks it's something that's worth taking further, and if he does take it further, he will not give up until there's an outcome.
He's worth every cent. You send him into battle, and my money's on him.
He does challenge me, that's for sure, but we've worked out a very good working relationship. He's very understanding of what we need to do and the processes that we need to follow.
I'm very proud to support every single worker on the site, to be honest with you. Regardless, full-time, casual, we're all workers matter.
Michelle Giovas, Monash University.
My name is Michelle Giovas. I work at Monash University. I wanted to be an HSR because I think occupational health and safety is critical. People will come to me with all sorts of problems, whether they're injured, being bullied. I think sharing the problems, listening to people really helps. Everybody knows Victoria's been through a pandemic. We had a really good COVID safe plan, but it had been developed without consulting staff. We needed to have better controls in place. We just sort of said, well, we've got Omicron and we would like to have N95 masks available for those that want it, and we also want to have rapid antigen testing. And the answer was no. I issued the PIN because I didn't think staff had been consulted properly. Consultation opened up straight away, emails to all staff, briefings to staff about what the university was doing. The N95 masks were made available, and we also had the rapid antigen tests as well. We got consultation and we got the safeguards that were becoming more necessary.
She used her powers in a way where it seemed like it was confronting, but then it made the university consult properly. Her mannerisms and the way that she was able to put the pin on and get the consultation happening meant that the university came along with her, and that was the big difference.
Look, I feel quite fortunate having Michelle as the HSR for our designated work group. If anyone does have an issue, she'll sit and listen. She just won't fob them off. She'll do the best for them to get a result.
Michelle is very proactive in what she does. She's an active participant in the OHS committee that we run for our designated work group. That influence is spreading to others in the group, and they see there's some real value that they can add also.
I've been a HSR for about 15 years, and this was the first PIN that I'd ever issued. You know, we've got legal tools that can assist us. They can be really effective in having a workplace that has effective consultation and where staff can be part of that. And so that, you know, we wind up with a much safer workplace, you know, and that's the goal.
Shawna Hearn, InfraBuild.
I'm Shawna Hearn. I'm a leading hand caster and health and safety representative at InfraBuild, Laverton. The range of health and safety risks on this site are bobcats, forklifts, we have overhead cranes, people working with molten steel at 1650 degrees. In the past, we've had 3 people take their lives that worked here, and one of those was on my crew at the time, and I saw the devastation that it caused his family. It's something that I don't want to see any other family go through. The thing that I'm most proud of as a HSR, the wellbeing office that I set up, and just the cultural shift around the stigmas in mental health. A culture of nobody talks about mental health to people having open discussions. People actually putting their hand up and saying, if you need help, I'm here to support you. We now have people across site that have become mental health first aiders. So to go from nothing to having volunteer mental health first aiders on site is a massive cultural change. This room is constantly being used. Our EAP says that he's never been busier. A third of our whole site at some stage have been through here for some reason or another.
You've really got guys where you sort of don't talk about stuff. You come in, you get on with it. Sean's just given a whole new lease on life as to how people talk about mental health in the workplace. I've reached out to Sean. If you know one of your mates is aware of your issue, and just having that little bit of extra support really come in handy, it definitely did for me. I don't have Sean on speed dial. Just kidding, I already have him on speed dial.
There was a safety issue where an explosion happened right in my face and I was scattered. Everyone sort of, or old school, they sort of let it go, but Sean came straight forward and helped me, sat me down, takes you out of that whole environment and looks after you.
Sean took ownership of this project. He printed information, documents, posters at his own personal time and then went out to the site and pinned them on every notice board. Sean is a very humble bloke, doesn't really talk much about himself, but shows a lot of interest in everyone around him.
The guy is just an inspiration. This has been a blind area that we haven't taken as seriously. So passionate in order to be able to help others. The enthusiasm and the smile and the engagement that he's taken towards this.
Help's there, whether it's for that person, whether it's for their family, their friends, whatever. Breaking up the stigmas that have been there for years. It's not something easy to do, but it's working.